Yesterday morning was driving to work and all of a sudden my windshield got hit with the rock. Car in front of me was just changing the line and I heard the impact and I thought like, phew, my window didn't get cracked, and like in the next second the crack just appeared all of a sudden for about 2 inches long. Then after 30 minutes of driving, the crack got expanded for another inch, and I also tapped once, or like pushed on the crack, and it's got another inch. And the day after this morning, it's got to the point where it's now, which is did expand because of the heat, I guess. And it's growing on me. Since it's on the passenger side, I think I can save it, and that's what the video is going to be about. This crack is not quite simple. Behind that physics of glass cracking, you can see the angles that it was taking every time it's got expanded. So yeah, we're gonna be repairing this crack right here, and by repairing, we're gonna try to fix the problem with expanding or going this crack any farther and filling up with the filler. We'll see how that goes. There is no 100% since I don't have that much of experience with this type of problems. What I did here, right after it happens, or like 30 minutes later when I had the chance to stop, I put the duct tape on top of it. It's not to prevent this crack to expand, because that's not going to do anything. It's more like it to preserve that crack from being exposed to basically the same dust and the water. So basic plan for today is to prevent this crack from going any farther, which is basically pre-drill it. That's most of the services that here in US would do. If you call up some like windshield repair, that's what they probably going to do. They will pre-drill the end point of the crack, which is apparently somewhere here, and they're going to suck all of the air from it, and with that vacuum they will put the sealer and fill it up the crack. This process is really tedious. It takes quite a bit of time to fill that crack. And the biggest thing is to make sure that the crack wasn't exposed to the weather, because right away they're saying it might not going to be perfect if it was exposed to dust and water. It depends how long ago it happened and did you cover it or not. If you did cover, protect the crack right after it happens, you have really high chance that those services would be able to make it real good. So yeah, let's try to pre-drill it. I'm gonna guide you through the process of drilling it and filling it in, and you'll see it for yourself. Whether you wanna experiment and do it yourself, or you just wanted to pay somebody $100 to $200 and have that crack fixed. Although some cars, the windshield replacement is gonna cost $300 to $400. Particularly for this car, it's gonna be close to $400 since it's German car. For that job, I'm gonna be using the Dremel. My van is working because it's providing the electricity for us, and it does work. It's gonna be really tiny drill bit. I've seen people using definitely much tighter drill bit, and as you can see, our crack did expand all the way till something like this spot. So I got some isopropyl alcohol, so you're gonna make it a little bit cleaner and make sure I can see clearly what is going on here. Also, make sure not to push from the inside, because if you will do so, that crack will expand, and it's really easy to just add a little bit of pressure from the inside, and that's it. So in terms of drilling, you don't really need to penetrate this. You just need to make sure you create a release point at the end of the crack. So here I'm gonna need to be pretty precise in terms of where the end of this crack is. So you don't want to add any type of pressure, you just want to be on top of the crack. So now the problem here is not to create even more damage, and I'm using something like 3/32 bead And indeed it does work. Although I missed the crack by a little first time, the second attempt was at the spot. But from my view it didn't look like, so I made another pre-drill. Also, as you can see, I didn't go that far. From this YouTube channel video you can clearly see that the windshield built from two separate pieces of the glass and they glued together in the center. So this video shows precisely how to drill the right way. I will leave the link in the description for you so you can watch it. In my case, I'm using pretty thick drill and I made the crown really wide. So my hope that it will substitute for all of that gimmick. So, don't know. It seems like we are on the spot from the third point. We can try to press from the inside. It seems like it's fine. Which is previously it was just going right away. So for now, I simply going to start adding the glue, and for that we need to remove the rest of the tape. So you sort of can see the crack, but I'm gonna be using a Permatex windshield repair kit from the AutoZone. I don't really need all those fancy things, but I'm rather going to go for just the glue. Also we have this guy, which is plastic to cover the access area. The film is crucial for drying the sealer. It specifically made it that it will cure under the sun or UV exposure through the film. And we have an alcohol pad, which is great because now we can clean the crack. The big thing is to push a little bit that crack from inside to make it open and then fill up with that glue. So for me it's going to be easy to work with the crack since it's easy to push from the inside. And I'm simply gonna go over the crack right here and start adding it. And now you simply need to cover that with the plastic so it can cure while it's exposed to the sun. I'll add a little bit more to the corners. We'll see how that did work or didn't later. A couple hours later I'll get you an update. So you can clearly see where the crack is, but at some spots you cannot. For example, like this portion right here doesn't really have that much of a crack revealed, as this portion or this part right here still have some air underneath. So this could be made much better by pushing from inside, and that would close or open up the gap, will get that glue or that compound inside more than, or release the air bubbles and basically get that glue in if you're gonna push from the inside harder. But the problem is if you're going to push harder, you might end up cracking that or opening the crack even farther. And as for that drill spot, it's gone. So it's been about 20 minutes. I did remove rest of the plastic pieces, but as you can see, this portion is pretty hard, so it's not liquidified anymore. The one that it wasn't, like this portion right at the corner, is still liquid, but this film, or the film up top, is actually what makes it get harder, like pretty much right away. So what I'm doing here is basically I'm cutting the stuff that is on the windshield. It's like using the razor blade and revealing this crack. Like I said, it's not perfect, but as far for the crack, you cannot see it or you cannot feel it. This part right here, when we drill it, it's still visible, but not from the inside. or we actually double check with that, but it's already doesn't look that bad. On top of that, I know it will not advance and it's not go any farther. And that's what it looks like from the driver side. Basically, pretty much can see what the cameras see from that perspective, which is, you might say it's pretty bad, but it's definitely much better than it was previously. So again, there is other solution that you can call somebody and they definitely gonna make it look much better because they have experience, they have pressure experience, plus the tools that they know how to use and how to fill those cracks the best way, because like I said, they have experience. In my case, I am happy with the results. It's not as obvious as it used to be, but it's not perfect. So I guess you decide whether you want to experiment and make it less visible, or you want to try to make it disappear, which is ideal, although you're gonna need to make or pay some money for that service, 100 to 200. And if you want to go cheap, I think just go ahead and do it yourself, because cheap service never gonna be that great unless you know the people that they do pretty good job and they can make it for 50 bucks. Yeah, that's totally cool. Otherwise, just try to watch a couple more videos and see how other people dealing with it, and then go ahead and advance and do it yourself. In any case, hope you guys did like the video and discovery. If yes, please put that like button there, subscribe my channel, and leave me a comment below.